You are now listening to the smooth sounds of Loveatiya. Ciao, beautiful souls. My name's Atiya, and I am your future bestie in your head. I am a sex-positive animal activist. I grew up in Queens, New York, and was homeschooled/unschooled for about 12 years. I was a virgin until I was 24 and attempted to have a hoe phase for 2 years, which eventually led me to being accidentally/intentionally celibate. And here we are today. My past left me with a lot of wild stories, a lot of lessons, and a hell of a lot of trauma. Thank God for my wicked sense of humor, because God only knows I would have perished by now. With that being said, this is your gentle reminder that the Loveatiya experience was created as a safe space for me to reflect and share the lessons that I've learned from past traumas. Shit gets real on this podcast, and topics such as domestic violence, sexual assault, substance abuse, depression, anxiety, and suicide may be referenced. If you are working through feeling triggered by certain topics, this may not be the show for you right now, and that's okay. Healing takes time and isn't linear. I'll be here when you're ready. Now, without further ado, the Loveatiya experience is an experience. So get ready for laughs, crazy story times, and life-changing pleasure tips here on the Loveatiya Experience podcast. Hey, beautiful souls, it's your girl Loveatiya. This is my fifth time, because I had to stop it at one point because my mic stopped working. So this is my 5th time recording, so I've decided that I'm going to be recording all the way through, starting now, no matter what. Even if I sneeze, fart, or fucking burp, I don't care. This is Loveatiya Uncut, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I feel like my neurodivergence has been like all over the place, and I've just been doing a lot of like being in my head instead of being in the moment. So in this episode, we are literally just going to fucking talk about so many different things. And if you can't keep up, that's okay. And if you can keep up, that's amazing. So let's just dive in. Welcome to the Loveatiya experience. I'm back. You might have not even realized that I left, but I took a break. I took a break from everything because the universe forced me. So a lot of y'all know that I launched my pleasure shop on July 1st, and I was so excited. Then 3 weeks later, I had to shut it down because Wix told me that they were no longer supporting what I sold. So that sucked. Then 2 more weeks later, I had gotten a lead and was like, yay! So Wix basically said that I can't sell sex toys, although my website is so much more than just sex toys. I also sell hair and skincare products that are handmade, vegan, and cruelty-free. But I had to cease all sales on my site because I sold, I think that they really flagged the fetish products because I was good. I was good with Wix until I uploaded the kink and fetish products. But anyways, I realized that I originally had the mindset that the universe was against me and that like I wasn't going to succeed in life, and like why do I even have dreams and ambition? That whole rabbit hole was a very dark place, and I had to get out of it. Then I came up with this mantra: where is the universe trying to redirect me to? So then I got put on with this new company. Somebody from my school for sex tech, they connected me with this new company. I'm so grateful for them. That company ended up falling through. Not the company itself, but once again, Wix didn't accept that specific company, whatever. It's so much more complicated than this, y'all, but just know it's been an ebb and flow. So guess what the fuck I did? I sat the fuck down. I sat down and I stopped everything. I put a pause on my website. My Indiegogo campaign has been put on pause because it just is what it is. I put a pause on social media, and it fucking went within. Because not only was my world spiraling on the outside, it was spiraling on the fucking inside. Now, guess what? The universe has blessed me because I finally took time to go with it. Now, I thought that I had to prove to the universe that I was working so hard that if I just worked my ass off, literally worked my actual ass off, including my anus, which we will talk about because it's anal August, but I'm about to share some motherfucking TMI because me and my ass have been going through it, okay? And not in the way that you would think. But yeah, I felt like I had to show the universe like I was working so hard that I'd be rewarded for my work. Long story short, the universe just wanted to see me take care of myself. So I finally took care of myself in a lot of different ways. And also I guess I didn't feel like I could really take a pause. Like it was one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. And if it wasn't a birthday, it was something else. And if it wasn't something else, then it was something. It was literally, quite literally, it has always been something since April. I feel like I haven't really. No, since January, because I really hit the ground running this year. Yeah, I hit the ground running this year when it came to sex tech. So I am so excited to tell you that I am officially back. Ethereal X is relaunched as of today. I found another payment processor that does accept what I sell. It has been such a journey, but I'm back. So in honor of y'all being here and listening to this, I'm doing a very special coupon code. If you're listening to this between the months of August to the end of September, you can use the code WEBACK. It's going to be WEBACK. And you can use that to get 15% off of your purchase. So I'll put that in the description below. But yeah, treat yourself to something. I love you so much. I'm so grateful to be back. And like I said, Ethereal X is about so much more than sex toys. So while you're on my website, theloveatiya.com, you can check out all of the other things I have. I have pleasure consultations you can sign up for, although I don't think that I'll have any available until September. I have tips on why it's important to choose toys that have body safe materials. I have just my pleasure tips blogs. If you're not signed up for that, you can sign up for those. But I just feel like the universe is rewarding me, and it's not by me working harder, it's by me loving myself more. And the irony is that that's the message that I've been trying to push for all of my followers and friends, and now here we are. I had to take my own advice, and it worked. So I'm really, really grateful. I'm going to keep pouring into myself. Over the last 3 days, I actually took some severe time alone and off the grid. Saturday, I slept all day because I was exhausted. Sunday, I did shrooms, and that was an amazing experience. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And Sunday, Sunday I did shrooms. And Monday, I had therapy, which was a beautiful, beautiful session. And I had a really big epiphany that I want to share with y'all, which is I thought that I had to share my healing process with everybody. I thought I had to share my mental health problems with everybody. And I think that the more I can speak from a place of like past healing as opposed to current healing, if that makes sense. Like I can speak on things that I'm healing from in the past. I can speak on sexual things that I'm currently healing from as well in the current. But I think that mental health and emotional things, I think that I really want to keep those sacred. Like I have this wide array of things I share with the world. So if my mental health journey is something that I just keep for myself, I think that that's okay. And I think that I have such an ebb and flow when it comes to my mental health journey that's kind of hard to keep up, honestly. And I can keep that for the people that are closest to me. So yeah, I think that was really, really big. Like just getting back to sacredness, because I share so much. So yeah, I was off the grid. And I was really proud of myself for like not telling anybody, going away, like just being in my own space for my birthday at the end of the month. And I'm so excited. Happy almost Virgo season. I am taking a 5-day retreat off the grid. I will probably call my mom and my dad because they are why I exist. And then after that, I am the done. Because I'm really realizing like I give to this universe so much. So the least I can do is give my energy to myself unapologetically. Really, like I give so much. I give via voice notes. The last, or maybe 2 weeks ago, this happened to me like 2 or 3 times. I've walked into places that people have complimented my smile. I got free wine on a flight the other day because this flight attendant said he loved my smile, and he was like this gay white guy who was amazing, and he was like he never sees anybody smile when they get on the flight or whatever. He's like, no, it's very rare that I see people smile. I'm like, oh my god. But it wasn't just a smile. I know he's seen people smile before. It was my smile. So the more that I can see how much I give, the less I feel like I have to overgive, overcompensate. And that way, when I do get to spend time with people, when I do get to see people, I can enjoy it. I can live in it. I can revel in it. And I don't feel like I'm exhausted and giving people just bits of me. The other day, I was talking to somebody, and literally, I was like fighting so hard to listen. I was trying so hard to listen. And I got it together. But for a good like 10 minutes, you know that that TikTok, and it's like blah blah blah, Tabernacle. You might not know it, but I don't even know what it's from. It's from like an anime or a cartoon or something. But it's like somebody's talking to them, and they're just like so zoned out, and it's not like I wasn't actively trying. So yeah, I was like, I gotta take a break from the world because I'm not even able to be here for myself or for other people. So, and even my dad, like I was taking all of these meetings, and he was like, "What? You're taking all these meetings, and you are literally like running yourself to the ground. But if you're running yourself to the ground." Once you're at the ground, there's no more meetings to be had. Like once I'm literally depleted, I physically can't have the meetings anymore. So why wait till I get to that point to depletion? He said it so much differently than that, but paraphrasing, to where like I can take care of myself and the meetings will wait. Otherwise there will be no need to have meetings with, because I would just be so depleted emotionally and energetically. So that's been really helpful. I have not taken any meetings for the month of August, and it's felt amazing. Like, do I actually ever have to take another fucking meeting again? Is that really a part of being a CEO, or did I make that up? Okay, now, speaking about my weekend away, I told you I'm turning 30. I'm so excited, y'all. So I was really nervous, and I was excited at the beginning of the year. And I'm not going to make a disclaimer about my nails. I'm just going to show you them now. These are my nails. All right? All right. Because we're being fucking non-apologetic, and I'm going to paint them tomorrow. And even if I wasn't, that's okay, too. I'm really working on not explaining myself as well, but it's a work in progress. Some things I'm working on, not explaining myself, not sharing so much, not saying sorry. So bear with me. But I guess I don't really have to say much about this then, if that's the case, if I'm not sharing a lot. I'll tell y'all about my 30th birthday after, but I guess my point is that I'm really excited about this new energy that's about to come with 30. And I actually feel like from 30, I'll be able to heal 20-year-old me a bit more. And we're going to get to that maybe next, actually. I had a dream the other day about my ex. And it was really long, and it was really vivid. And I can't necessarily remember the terms we were on. Like, I don't remember feeling like, oh, this is torturous, like, oh, I don't want to be here. But I also don't remember feeling so comfortable. Like, I felt like I was on edge the entire dream. And he was such like a big presence in that dream. I don't know if I told y'all this, but his freaking best friend followed me on TikTok randomly. I don't know if he likes my shit. I don't know who likes my shit, but he found me maybe like 2 months ago. I don't think I blocked him from what I can remember, but maybe I did. I don't know. But I just feel like my subconscious is bringing him back around for certain reasons. I wrote out a list of some core beliefs that I have that are not mine, like things that people have told me about myself that stuck with me. And right now, I have almost 10 core beliefs from him about that are like negatively affecting me, or that have stayed with me since our relationship. And that he has the most core beliefs out of all of them. Like, I have a couple of other people on that list who have like said certain things so repetitively that they've stuck and they have become my own beliefs. But, and I recommend doing this exercise. Like, it was really healing for me. But yeah, I realized that there's this segment of my life, 23 to 26, 22 to 26 probably, where it's like year-old me that needs a lot of attention, that deserves a lot of attention. And I'm always so scared to like touch on that part of me because I just don't know what it's gonna bring up. So yeah, I think that that's where my heart is calling me to, and that maybe when I turn 30, although it's just a number, it's just a year, it's just an age, like I am doing the work now, but I think that turning 30 is going to be helpful for me to be able to reflect in my 20s and really just like heal my inner adult. I don't know how to, like, because it's like my inner child in her 20s. Like, she's just doing her best. So yeah, I have something else to say about my ex though. Just about core beliefs. So I'm gonna really try to heal. Like, I haven't even told y'all about this. I want to like make a whole special episode about it, but I had sex. Yes, I had sex in April, and this is after 2 months of being celibate. But the person that I had sex with, I remember he was going on and on about his ex, and I was making a video specifically about this encounter. But he's talking about his ex, and so I said, well, shit, since we're talking about exes, I guess I can share mine a little bit. But I was proud of myself because the first night that we had sex, I did not say anything about my ex. I didn't say anything about my trauma, and that was really big for me because if you know me, you know that I used to like Like, hey, this is my story. These are my story. A true ghetto story. I remember those days when hell was my home, but seriously. But yeah, I'm looking forward to neurodivergent cluster. What was I talking about? My ex. My brain's probably helped trying to make me forget about him. So yeah, I'm excited to focus on healing that part of me, so that I can just reframe my relationship with myself. Because a lot of the things that I blame myself for and a lot of the thoughts that I had about myself are not mine. They literally don't belong to me. Including saying sorry a lot, including over explaining, including trying to, like, I really would love to figure out, did I care as much about other people? Like, do you ever do this future planning thing where you think like, okay, if I say this person might feel this way, but if I say this person might feel this way? Did that come from me being in a fucked up abusive relationship? Like, I'd love to pinpoint who I was before the relationship and what I got out of that relationship that I need to let go of in ways of being. So we're still sorting through that. Honestly, this is a new concept. But what's not a new concept is my disdain for men. And I think that a lot of that did come from my encounters with my ex. But I will say that I was still giving a lot of men chances after my ex. And so I think that I just kept finding like worse and worse and worse men. Although I will say that I don't think that the treatment really can get much worse than what I received from my ex. It has gotten bad with other people. So at this point of my disdain, and I want to know if this is a universal thing, because I see a lot of talk online about like celibacy, about singleness, about just like not really fucking with men. A lot of women are deciding to finally tap into like dating women because it's something that they've desired. They just didn't know like how to get into it. There's also like hetero compulsory, which I think has been like a topic of conversation a lot, just where like basically you're hetero because that's what society tells you to be and that's what you've seen in like media, but you don't really know if that's really like what feels right for you. So yeah, that's what I've been working through about my disdain for men. So like, I don't like the way that they smell anymore. I don't like the way that they look. Like, things that make men look like men in society's minds turn me the fuck off. Like beards, oh god. Like, oh god, if you have a beard, don't even kiss me. Like mustaches, no. Chest hair, no. Arm hair, no. Leg hair, no. I love pubic hair on women. No. For men, just no. Like, just nothing about men. And some of you maybe say like, wow, Tia, you're gay. And you're right. But just like in general, even just being friends with men, like, I have, like I said, I still have like my core group that I like love, but they're still men. They still say things that men say. They still do this. I just want to know, like, is anybody else going through this? Like, is anybody else struggling with relating to men? And I do think that men are starting to catch on, because I feel like they put into our minds they needed to be needed, but we don't need them. So now what? Like, you know, even when it comes to like reproduction, they're like, oh, you need us to have kids. And like, we don't actually anymore. So what? Like, I don't know. I guess I didn't really have much to say about my disdain for men, despite like I just don't care for them right now. I don't know what's gonna shift that. Even when I meet people that I think are on an enlightened tip, I just lose faith in them, because I lose faith because they show me that I can't have faith in them. Even the guy that I had sex with, he's like, oh, I'm a healer. Healers don't say you're a healer. You're just a healer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what you do. You understand you're on a constant journey of healing yourself, like actively healing yourself. And my first question should have been, are you in therapy? Because you're treating me like a therapist right now, the way we're talking about your goddamn ex. Okay. After I share this story, it's gonna be so much more funny. But that's not what this is about today. Oh, I do want to talk about OCD and just like socializing, and if anybody else is neurodivergent and can relate to this. Jump scares, just kidding, self-care. If you're watching this on YouTube and you know that we just had a change of scenery, I also now have a green mask on my face, and this is because I am detoxifying my skin with my ethereal clay mask. This is not a commercial, I have a story to tell, but I figured if you have hyperpigmentation or if you have acne or if you want to detoxify your skin, use my clay mask. And it's handmade, it's vegan and cruelty free, and I've been in business, y'all, for 6 whole years now. So yeah, I feel like people don't really know that I have a hair and skincare company and that it's vegan and cruelty free. So anyways, I came here because I had a story that I put on here, and I deleted the story because I feel like I didn't tell it right, and I'm just gonna keep it out. But then I feel like it has a big part to my to what my conclusional thoughts were, especially now that I'm like a couple of weeks out of it, and I feel like I can just see, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Okay, so this story is about how my mom had asked me and 2 other people a question, and we got to share our experiences about this question. So the first person shared their experience about the question and had a really beautiful sentimental outcome. We were like, wow, so beautiful. Everybody was like cheering them on, clapping. It's not as big as I'm making it sound. They weren't on a standing ovation, clapping and with like fucking pom-poms in the air. No, they were just supporting that person. Second person shares their story. Everybody's, once again, like, wow, that was such a beautiful story. I shared my story. The first time I shared my story, I can admit I was talking a little bit low. So people started talking over me because they could not hear me. But because I already had an inner monologue, this video is about how important inner monologues are. Because I had an inner monologue going on in the back of my head about, no one hears me, this, that, and the third. Of course, that just seemed like no one cared about my story. Then when I finally did share my story a little bit louder, I realized, looking back, I shared part 1 of the story, and I think that there was a positive reaction to it. But because I had a filter on, I didn't even acknowledge that positive reaction. I just skipped to the second part where I felt like I shared my story, and then no one said anything. It was the most awkward silence. And unless you're in it, you don't even peep you don't even peep that, because you're just in your own world. Because I feel like everybody's world should revolve around me, the moment felt so much bigger than what it actually was. What it actually was the conversation was done, and like there was nothing to say about my story that I shared. But I guess when I shared it, I wanted people to be like, hard. Atiya, you're so fucking funny and hilarious, and I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, I don't know what I expected. So I'm just so grateful for that moment, because it just really, really was a tall tale sign as to like how my inner monologue can really just like disregard what actual realities are happening on the outside. Like, what the reality was is that I was in a room full of people that were actively lifting me up, that were actively supporting me, that were actively telling me how proud they were of me, that were so curious about my endeavors and all of this beautiful stuff. But because I was carrying shame, and I was carrying judgment, and I was carrying these negative thoughts that then became kind of OCD, in my opinion, because they were OCD because they weren't making sense, but they were so obsessive and compulsive. So anyways, I say all that to say that, when you have OCD, it can really morph your reality, and it can really make you think. I don't know if I deleted this part of the video, but there was a part where I literally started thinking like, oh my God, I'm so negative, and I'm so, I'm such a Debbie Downer, and nobody wants to hear my stuff. Yeah, I think I deleted that. But if not, then you're probably going to hear it again in a second. But in reality, it was, no, these people really support you, and this was a fleeting moment of time. You didn't even remember if they said anything positive the first time, so how do you know? Look at my mask literally hanging off on my nose. But yeah, long story short, I'm so grateful for that moment. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by people who I love and trust, because it really helps me realize that the monologues and the stuff that I have going on in my head are not mine. And I might have mentioned it in this video, but I started realizing that a lot of these negative thoughts that I have actually come from my ex. And so once I was able to put a name to them, y'all, I swear they started dissipating. Like, since making that video, I have had such a lessened amount, excuse me, of negative thoughts. Sorry, I'm about to have an allergy attack. Because I was jumping up on my cat. But anyways, long story short, I'm really grateful to be able to share this journey with y'all. And I'm not saying that I'm bugging all the time. I really do think that my epiphany about being the light and being the person that's really, really hyping up or amplifying the hype up of things. I really do think that is what I do, and that is not my role, but it's the role that I've taken. But I also just think that I've had blinders on to like very clear support, and instead of honoring that support, I'm focusing on a moment of silence, and then deeming silence bad. Like, I don't know, maybe it was a moment of compassion. Maybe it was a moment of reflecting. Maybe they were silent because they were just fucking thinking about a bill they had to pay. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of life things that happen, like I said, but because I thought that the world revolved around me. So yeah, and it's not to invalidate the fact that I do deserve to be cheered on. I do, but I have my own cheerleading squad. But the most important part is me being that cheerleading squad. So anyways, you're going to hear some more of this epiphany, but I just want to input this part in because I feel like there was like a missing gap, because later on I mentioned the coming out story, and it's like, no, Atiya, they don't even know what you're talking about. So here it is. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this episode. Don't forget to shop self-care from a trusted supplier that doesn't have stuff in their products that will kill you. Love you. Enjoy the rest of the video. My mom played a video back for me one time. She had accidentally recorded, it was like a 16-minute video. We were in the pool, and she had accidentally recorded us talking. And as she was talking to me in the video, I was like, wow, what? Oh my God. And she said that. So like, the animation of who I am is what people receive when they talk to me, right? If there's ever a moment where I am not that animated, I am beating up on myself immensely. And if a time passes and I realize that I haven't been animated, I will go back like, oh my God, did I ever acknowledge when you said you loved air? Even though it's the most irrelevant fucking sentence, I hope that I acknowledged it deeply and made you know that I care that you love air. But then the flip side of that is gaining resentment then when you share things and you don't get that same result, right? So like if people are sharing their coming out stories and we're like, wow, that's so inspiring. The next person, wow, it's so inspiring. But then I'm the one that's sharing it, so I'm not the person clapping. I noticed this as well when I was on the beach and I was with 3 people. I took pictures of all 3 of them and I'm like, yes, you better work, queen. Okay, fabulous. Oh my God, stunning. And then it was my turn. Everybody was quiet. So I started saying, yes, girl, you better work, queen. Go ahead, girl. Yes, I love that. And then that's when people started saying compliments and stuff like that. And it was just such an eye-opening moment of like, this is just who I am. This also happened twice to me when I was in dance classes. And one of them was on the beach. The other one was, I can't remember where, but I was hyping everybody up. And then it was my turn to get in the circle. Why is it like awkwardly silent? Sometimes I feel like I actually stun people by my essence and my energy, but I don't see myself sometimes, so I just think that they hate me, when in reality they're enamored by me, but I'm like, they hate me, they don't want me to shine, they're not hyping me up. Where's the audience participation? It's just such an interesting perspective, because like when I think about it, it really will get so quiet, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so quiet, and I'm like, they really don't like me, and it's really, no, they are enamored by you, Atiya, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's where like reframing comes, right? And so when I looked up like OCD, in that moment, going back to the coming out though, I was like, oh my God, they probably think I'm negative. Oh my God, I probably talk too much, like. I made this whole thing and I kept repeating it to myself, like, I'm so negative, why do I have to be so negative? I feel like Debbie Downer from SNL, like I'm talking too much, I'm saying too much, they're probably annoyed by hearing my voice. And it's like, oh my God, this is so mean. And when I think back to the way that that particular tone of voice and that particular policing, that definitely came from my abusive relationship. Because as much as I went through when I was a child, like my dad calling me controlling, my dad saying I was like my mom, I found ways to be able to flip that. And I've had ways to be able to have conversations with him about it. Although I know that it did heavily impact me mentally and emotionally, so I'm not going to discard that. But I think I was able to see it a bit more, especially since my dad has then come out and said like, oh, I too was controlling. I too was projecting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's, and even when he would say like, oh, you're just like your mom, like when I realized how beautiful a person my mom was, I've heavily took that as a compliment, you know? So that reframe worked for me, but like that constant judgment and dagger and nothing I can do is right, that is my ex's voice. I'm just now really having this epiphany while I'm talking to y'all, by the way. Just because it's so insidious and it's so constant. And that's how it used to be, like back to back to back berating. So as much as I wasn't to diagnose myself with OCD, I think I'm just gonna diagnose that as like me being in an abusive relationship and healing from that. I think that I do have a mild form of OCD, but I think that a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? By the way, OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder. It can show up in your thoughts and your actions in many different ways. We can talk about that at another time. But yeah, I think that was really detrimental for me and really eye-opening for me, because it's like, no one told me I talked too much during that ordeal. No one said, oh my God, T, you talk too much. Nobody rolled their eyes when I spoke. Nobody like said, oh my God, you're so negative. No one ever said any of that. I added all of those judgments to myself. I don't even think anyone else is really policing themselves like that, if I'm being honest with you. So I think that that's really, really helpful when it comes to my just like understanding how I can be so mean to myself. If every time I'm mean to myself, if I could just ask, like, is this my voice or is this my ex's voice? I think that'll be really helpful and really healing for me. And I think that also just goes with being neurodivergent. I've made a YouTube video about this. Feel free to check it out. But like certain thought patterns, certain bits of guilt that I feel, for instance, the other day, today, my mom came over and I told her that I had some things that I wanted to share with her about my healing that I was really excited to share. She said, oh, I want to talk about it this morning and I could drop off some soup. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. So she came by, dropped off some soup for me and talked about it, and I knew she was going downtown to get some stuff. After we talked, she went downtown to get some stuff, and as she was leaving, I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I held up her time. Oh my God. And then I was like, wait, she asked to listen to my stuff. Like, she asked to come over and listen to my stuff, and she made the time. So I don't have to feel guilty about this. And then when she came back, she said that she didn't find what she needed from downtown. And I was like, oh my God, I hope that my venting didn't distract her from the stuff that she had to get. And it's like, I am a very powerful person, but powerful enough to interject somebody's mind to when they go somewhere and they can't find what they need, so they go back home because they couldn't find what they need because the place that just didn't have it. I'm not in control of that. And so I think that it's just very helpful to pinpoint those moments to realize, like, this type of thinking is not contributing to my healing. And that's why we all have, I think the word is autonomy, and we all have decisions to make, right? It is my job to protect my energy. It's not my job to protect anybody else's energy. I can be considerate in doing that, but I can also have faith that other people will have enough autonomy to be able to protect their own energy. So if they're emotionally overwhelmed, maybe they won't answer this text right now. Or maybe me asking for what I want can help them ask for what they want, and we can find a happy medium. But I feel like sometimes I try to go, that's what I was talking about before, like I try to think so much in the future, and I make these assumptions sometimes. And I think that can be detrimental. It can push me back. It can create divides in my relationships. And yeah, I'm really working on that. I'm working on not making myself be responsible, because I'm quite literally not. And as much as I say that, there's still this little piece of my gut that's like, you are responsible. Everything you do, you're responsible for the cause and action of everything. When in reality, maybe the universe was just trying to redirect my mom somewhere else, hence why she wasn't able to find everything that she needed to find. So that's where we're at. Even with neurodivergence, like I posted, like I said, on YouTube, and somebody commented, it was like, you can't do that. Like, you can't diagnose yourself with neurodivergence. And they said that for Amanda Seals too. But I didn't tell y'all about my anus. Was I in this video, or did I say something like, I have a lot to say about my anus, but being that I have been through so much stuff with doctors within this last month and a half, it's really taught me a lot, and it's validated a lot of my own fears and experiences, but it's also healed a lot of stuff too. So when it comes to my mental health, let me know if you gotten checked for autism. Do they literally put like a helmet on your head and like divulge the thought patterns you have going on in your mind and like list out all of your stems for you and like list out X, Y, and Z? Because if I'm not mistaken, they would be able to learn certain things about me based on like questions and answers, behavioral studies, how, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's more of a behavioral study, if anything, to see my neurodivergence play out. Also, it's very hard to detect it. Women with neurodivergence get detected way later in life or get diagnosed way later in life than boys for whatever reason. So for the people who are like, oh my God, you need to get an official diagnosis from a doctor, I live with this neurodivergent brain of mine every day. Believe me, babe, I'm neurodivergent. Like, believe me, babe. Believe me. From the masking to the stimming to the swaying, like I am full on neurodivergent. And I love that about me, but I think that some of the parts that I found it hardest to love have also been things that have taught me that I'm neurodivergent. So yeah, I think I'm learning more about neurodivergence, and it's helping me learn more about myself. My point is, like, I can go to the doctor and he says you don't have autism, but literally everything that I do leads to the signs of me having autism. And am I then gonna say, oh, the doctor that I just met told me I don't have autism? And even though for the last couple of years I have really seen things unfold, or actually when I look back at my childhood videos, it actually makes a lot of sense. Like, oh, in this pattern and this masking and this stimming and this, like, yeah. I'm not gonna say, oh, the doctor told me I don't have autism, so I don't have autism. No, I think that that's where we have a problem when it comes to Western medicine specifically. It's like, they make it seem like you don't really have a choice. Like, once you get this diagnosis, I had a doctor tell me recently, oh yeah, well, your very simplified fecal test came back, and they said that that you have a lot of starch in your stomach, and this, that, and the third. And this is usually synonymous, or it does have similar symptoms to irritable bowel disease. So you probably have that. You literally just diagnosed me with the disease. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Kamala Harris. That's how you say her name, right? I never want to say it the way that what's-his-face says it. Yeah, she calls herself Mamala, so it's Kamala. I mean, her stepchildren call her Mamala. But anyways, that's a quote from her. But yeah, like, you didn't look at an x-ray of my stomach. You only had a fucking 30-minute consultation with me and barely let me get a word out in edgewise. And you diagnosed me with a whole disease? And then said, oh, and take this probiotic, then this one other thing, and this should help? So yeah, I definitely learned that a doctor it's almost like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Like, a doctor can give me an idea of what's wrong with me, unless it resonates in my body, it's almost like when they say, oh, you have this lump and it doesn't have cancer, but it could. But it fucking doesn't have cancer. It currently doesn't have cancer. So what the fuck? Like, it gives that energy. It gives the insurance energy of like, well, nothing's happened to you right now, but something could, you know? So with my neurodivergence, I just feel like, yeah, a doctor can tell me their opinion, but I live with myself. So I'm going to, and maybe one day I'll fucking get tested, but it's not going to validate anything because I literally know that I am neurodivergent. Also, there's a large spectrum when it comes to neurodivergence, and a lot of things fall under the category of neurodivergence. Autism, Asperger's, ADHD. Shit, I wonder if OCD falls in, because it's a fucking neurological thing. I mean, if you look up like what neurotypicalness is, I really can't even give you like a full, I don't know not one goddamn neurotypical person in this world. And if you show me a blueprint of a neurotypical person, I promise you I'd probably much rather be neurodivergent. So yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. I think that sometimes people think that like others want to be neurodivergent as a trend. I don't want to be autistic as a trend. I don't think that being autistic is a trend. I think that we are all just very much so learning what autism is now, and thanks to tools like TikTok and YouTube and Google, we're able to be like, oh shit, that is me. We didn't have these tools before to really be able to relate to other people like this. So yeah, I think that's really helpful. We didn't have the words. You know, a lot of us learned that we were actually autistic because we watched Love on the Spectrum. Like, and we were like, oh wait, I can relate to this. A lot of us didn't know that there was a spectrum of autism. I used to really believe that, you know, if you were autistic, maybe if you were a person with autism, maybe you couldn't necessarily read social cues the way that maybe someone who is not autistic or doesn't have autism would be able to. Maybe you do things that help calm your mind down, like stims, you know, like I thought about that, but watching Love on the Spectrum really helped me realize, oh, there is for real a spectrum. And I don't really think that neurotypicalness exists, but anyways, that's just my own personal opinion. So yeah, I feel like I'm just looking for a community, but at the same time, like from afar, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to talk to anybody. I just want to like learn about it. So yeah. Now, segueing into Anal August. Happy Anal August. I did not know that this was a thing. Maybe I did last year and I forgot. That's okay. But I want to talk about my butt because, and then we'll talk about something else. So let me just give you a breakdown, y'all. So June, 3 weeks before my launch, I had trigger warning. We're gonna talk about some bodily functions. I had was literally shitting water every day. Was vomiting, and you already know I have fucking emetophobia, so I was vomiting like every other day, every 2 to 3 days. That was terrifying. And eventually one day, it was coming out of both ends, and I was like, something's gotta give. So my mom said she was gonna go to the doctor with me. I ended up just going by myself because I just didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to burden her, even though she literally acknowledged that she was going to go with me and offered to go with me. But that goes back to just like me putting things in my own head that people haven't told me, like, oh, I'm such a burden. So we'll get back around to the fact that I did eventually let her come to my doctor appointment and was so grateful for it. But went to the doctor. He makes me take this fecal test, and thank God I was walking around the streets of Mexico with shit in my bag all day. And then he also had me take a blood test. Came back a little bit incomprehensive. I don't know. It just wasn't really making sense to me. But I sent him he sent me the results to the doctor and was like, you have salmonella. There was nowhere on my sheet that said I had salmonella, but he gave me all these medicines, and one of them was supposed to be able to help me with salmonella. One of them was also something that I had taken for when I had a UTI and BV. So I stopped taking it when I listened to my gut, and then when I started listening to other people, I started taking it again. This whole year has been about listening to my gut. So that's that. I ended up, what did I do, y'all? I went to go get a second opinion after I was waking up in pain every morning with horrible stomach cramps and just feeling nauseous all the time, feeling bloated. I bloated so bad that I thought I was pregnant. Not only that, but my period was 10 days late. I think that one of the whole payment processing thing that happened with Wix, I think that was also to teach me, girl, you're gonna keep stressing yourself out until even worse things happen besides late period. I thought I was pregnant for a little while, and I was trying to do the math. I was Googling, oh my God, can you be 3 months? Because you have gotten your period for month 1 and month 2, but then the third month you don't get it. It was a lot. We will talk about that though. I would like to open my mind up. I guess because I just never gave a fuck about being pregnant. I just learned how to avoid getting pregnant, but I never looked up what happens if you actually are. So we can talk about that one day. But hopefully it will never apply to me. Shit. You know, I've been talking so much shit about marriage and kids, and everybody I know is either pregnant or getting married or having a kid. I'm invited to weddings and baby showers. So I hope they never take this personally, because I've had this stance before you were pregnant and before you were getting married. So you just don't me to love me. But yeah, my period was 10 days late. I went to the doctor. He didn't really seem that phased. Had me go take another test. Went to go take another test, which was even more simple than the original fucking test I took. And that's when he was like, oh, it looks like you might have irritable bowel disease. And this is in the midst of me having my mom's show and virtual show and all that stuff. So I just was trying to take care of myself, get answers, but also function while also trying to figure out how to restart my website. It was just a lot happening, a lot. So I will make the vow to myself to never be that stressed ever again. Like, I literally don't deserve to be that stressed ever again in my lifetime, ever. It's just not worth it. So I ended up finding a third doctor, getting a third opinion. This person was holistic. I did want to be a woman, but it ended up being a man. And then when my mom came with me, I was really grateful for that support as well. Like I said, she had offered to come with me for the last 2 doctors, but I just wanted to try to be independent. And I knew she was preparing for this show and stuff. I don't know. I just made up my own story. This doctor was like, oh, you need to take this other fecal test, but this was different than the rest because he gave some great points, like, you know, if somebody takes a fecal sample, if they just take one part of your poop, like that could have just been like a potato or whatever. Like, it could have been broken down, you know, like they're only sampling certain parts of your poop, and all of the poop is what really matters. So this test that he gave to me, it does X, Y, and Z. Then he's like, then you can go, you know, you want to get to the root of the cause. I'm like, yeah, I don't want any just like quick fix. Then he's like, oh, you can take this other test for your blood and learn about your thyroid. But I'm like, I didn't come in from my thyroid. I'll figure that out later. So this time around, 3rd time's a charm, I decided to advocate for myself. I'm going to do the stool test to figure out what's wrong, because I'm still waking up with cramps, like literally waking up in pain every morning. But I was proud of myself because I didn't rush out to get the blood samples for my thyroid. I will fucking figure that out at another point in my life. And this is like probably too much medical stuff to put on. Fuck it. Like, what do I think? Bill Gates is fucking listening to this, like, oh, she put something in her drink to give her thyroid shit. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. Like, I just get so tired of whatever. So anyways, long story short, this is my whole medical history. My stomach is still fucked up. I'm gonna try some new practices on my own, some new holistic practices. I did get some things out of that chat with the doctor. Like, I'm limiting gluten, limiting sugar. I'm not really doing that great of a job at limiting sugar, to be honest with you. I've been eating these like sweet ass pancakes all week. But anyways, I'm just trying to get better, and I learned that all of this medical stuff that happened to me is literally just because I need to get in touch with my gut. Like, I'm literally not tapped into my gut. I've been saying I wanted to eat better for the longest. I've been saying I wanted to cook more intentionally for the longest. I've been saying I wanted to enjoy my food for the longest. And I've just been on this rabbit hole of just eating shit, eating the same thing every day, eating potatoes and pasta every day. And so I think that when my stomach got messed up in December, and I ignored it a little bit. Then it got messed up again in March, and I ignored it a little bit. But that 2 weeks of watery shit killed me, almost, damn near. So I'm back on the grind of trying to be better. And if you can relate, just know that all pretty girls have stomach issues. So it comes to the territory. But if you have any tips for, like, I'm not diagnosing myself with anything, with IBS, with IBD. It's called your girl needs to get in touch with her gut. And so that's what we're going to do. Even, you know, people think, oh, when you're vegan, you're healthy. No, I was on a very unhealthy vegan diet. So just gonna try to get more tapped in. Even the fruits I eat, like maybe I'll start eating them with peanut butter. Maybe I'll start eating them with certain spreads, you know, things that can just help contribute to my weight and stuff like that. So anyways, in honor of Anal August, I'm taking care of my anus. And I would love to be able to experiment with some anal play. That would be really cool. Cause like, you know, I've had to be back there quite a bit. So I'm just kind of getting to know it. It's really cute. It's cute. But it puts in a lot of work, so I just want to be able to take care of it. But I do have some anal toys on my website, Ethereal X. It's actually theloveatiya.com, but the shop is called Ethereal X. So if you are looking to increase your anal play and would like to participate in purchasing some new toys, then don't forget, use the code WEBACK, WEBACK, to get 15% off of your purchase, off of your anal toys, or off of anything. Don't forget, shipping is discreet and everything's super confidential. I'm not gonna like tell your best friend that you just purchased an anal toy for me. So if you are interested in exploring for free, I also have some vegan and cruelty-free lubes on there as well. But yeah, I wonder what other like months there are for sexual health and sexual. I know that there's something coming up in September for sexual wellness, maybe like sexual wellness September. I know there was masturbation May. I know there's like no shave November. I don't really think that's like sexually related. Maybe it is. I mean, shit, I have no shave November every month, so there's that. My pubes are almost so long that they look like I'm wearing panties, and I love that so much. I might shave before my birthday. I'll see, maybe. But it's been really interesting having to love my body through this transition. Like, I can literally fit both of my butt cheeks in my hand, and yeah, it's been really interesting to grow through that and really have to practice active body positivity, actively like working through loving myself. Even today, like I wanted to do a haircut before I made this video, but no, I'm gonna just be like this because this is who I am right now, and I love this as me. I love myself as this. I love how I look. So I've been trying to like radically accept myself, trying to turn myself on. I masturbated the other day though, and I didn't give myself foreplay, and I just had not a fun experience. So I do just want to like make that be an emphasis. Like, make sure that you give yourself foreplay when you masturbate. And this is a side note. This has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about, but I wanted to segue into polyamory and feminine touch. So I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I know I just made a quick like subreddit. I know, like, I did like a zoop left turn, but thanks for working with me. I was thinking the other day, like, damn, I miss feminine touch for real. Like, I don't miss laying up with the guy. I don't, like, when I try to envision it, like, I don't miss that. But I do miss being with a woman. Like, I miss being cuddled up with a woman. I miss like touching, you know, like I miss her touching my toes or touching hands or touching thighs or just something, you know. And I can get that with my female friends, but I guess I've just been in such isolation that I just haven't really tapped into that at all. And I think I've just been trying to get more in touch with my own touch. But I was like, damn, why don't I date more women? And then I remembered, oh wait, I did try. I tried twice. The first one was not me actually trying to date somebody. It was just me getting in touch with somebody, and just checking in on them. But the other one, remember I told you I was talking to somebody and they were polyamorous, ethically non-monogamous? Well, that ended up really spiraling into something totally different. I made a video about it and everything. I mean, I made a episode about how I was open to polyamory, and I am still very open to polyamory. I'm open to ethical non-monogamy, but I think that people should be very honest with how much capacity they have and what the requirements of their partners are when it comes to being ethically non-monogamous. I also think that there's this point that I'm in right now of dating where I'm not trying to date, not really trying to have any major relations with anyone. Even when I say I crave physical touch, like feminine touch, I don't crave sex. I just miss like intimacy. But I'm at this place that I think that the guy that I had sex with in April really helped solidify this for me. Like, I'm not in a place to date. I don't have it in me to pour into other people. And he taught me that it's not fair to come into somebody's life like that and then just like dip, because that's what he did to me. So especially when you come in knowing that you're like, you don't want a relationship. Like, I think that I went into that with my heart a little bit open to getting to know him more, not a relationship, because I think that would have scared me as well. But anyways, we'll talk about that, like I said, in the next episode. But so yeah, I think that for me, I just desire a bit of like intimacy. But then I say that and I think, well, my friends have been wanting to get intimate and I haven't had the capacity for that. And when I say intimate, I don't mean sex. I literally just mean like intimate conversations, quality time. So I actually don't really know. And maybe it's okay to crave this, but know that I probably don't want it anytime soon. I think that that's okay. And I think it's okay to even like break down. I don't even know if I ever finished my sentence from the last thing that I was saying about the guy talking about his ex, but in the very beginning of this episode. But my point was, I had asked him how over his ex he felt like he was, like how healed he felt like he was. And I feel like he said he was like a 7 or 8. And I remember thinking like, brother, based on this conversation, okay. And I think I rated myself like a 6 or 5. And it's not, oh, I feel like I'm not healed or like I'm stuck on my ex. Oh, hell no, that's not it. I would never get back with that man again. The thing is, I feel like I'm still actively healing from the pain and from the things that like were inflicted in that relationship. And so I simply wouldn't be able to show up. I can't even really show up in my present day life now. Like, I'm trying my best, you know, but yeah. So anyways, I still have to say, maybe I'm cutting myself short, or giving myself the loose end of the stick, or whatever, give myself the short end of the stick. I don't even know. I think I'm saying this thing wrong. But I remember when I met this guy, the guy that I had sex with, and I thought like, oh, maybe the person that I actually needed was someone that I could heal with, because I thought I had to heal solitarily. And I feel like the way that situation played out, it didn't. I let that thought just perish immediately. And so maybe if I can think of that as like, I'd love to meet someone who's as patient. But then I'm like, do I have the patience to really be there while someone else is healing? I don't know, y'all. I'm figuring that part out. But I say all that to say that with this situation that I was in with the polyamorous woman, I just didn't feel like she needed to be dating. And like, who am I to judge? But shit, like, I was just coming out of a 4-year relationship. I'm sorry. I was 4 years out of, like, I've been single for 4 years. I've been single since 2020. And still don't feel ready. And she had only been single for like 2 or 3 months. There's no way that you're able to date one person, let alone multiple people. Like, and can you date multiple people? Yes. Can you date right after you got out of a relationship? Hell yeah. Should you? No. And maybe that's where I come into like trying to care so much about other people's healing journeys, and other people being hurt, and other people being readier, other people being able to not have their feelings hurt, all this stuff. But I don't know, I think that's just being a considerate person. So in this situation, I remember the last time we talked on FaceTime, that was already a thing, like the constant FaceTime calls. Once I realized that she was actively talking to multiple people and wasn't necessarily making that much time to communicate with me outside of the FaceTime calls, I just was like, why am I going on my way to have FaceTime calls with you? I hate FaceTime. Excuse me. And then the final straw for me was in this last FaceTime call. Like, we're 15 minutes in, and she's like, oh, my best friend is texting me asking if we can go to Walmart. I'm like, bitch, we just got on FaceTime. I was like, well, I don't know this time you're going to be able to get me on the phone. So, and that's because she had just literally ran off the phone with me the FaceTime call before that, because her best friend was having a show. And this is a common denominator where I feel like I've met a lot of lesbians who have very close girlfriends, and it's like, why don't y'all just date? Because y'all are obviously madly in love with each other. Like, just do it. It's okay. Like, or just admit that you have this open friendship with this person. I don't know. A lot of people also do it under the guise of like, oh, that's my sis. Okay. But based on my intuition, it just was giving. And even if you're not actively dating, sometimes you might just like the attention that person gives to you, right? Like I told y'all, my ex had this close girlfriend, female friend, and even if he tries to claim that he wasn't attracted to her, although I've seen some of the girls that he's fucked, so doesn't really matter about attraction. I think that, and I mean, yeah, anyways, I think that I've got so many thoughts went through my head. Higher self really wants me to say she wasn't an ugly girl. I think she was a pretty girl, but I think it was her energy and the shit that she did to fuck up me and my relationship that made her ugly. Because she was a very beautiful girl. So that's what my higher self wanted me to say. Fist fucking clenched like Arthur. I hate being a bigger person. But I think that he just really loved the attention that he got from her, and like knowing that or thinking that she wanted him, which I thought too. So I think it's the same thing in this situation where like some of these lesbian women that I've messed with just have these women friends who just give them this energy of like, I don't know. Also, some of these friends try to play hetero. They'd be like, oh yeah, I'm hetero. I remember she was like, yeah, I give her massages. Girl. And she was a masseuse, but she's like, yeah, I test out my new stuff on her and give her massages. So even if that is their relationship, and even if that is real and they really are just friends and it just really is a sisterly platonically thing, because that can exist, it can. I wasn't ready for that in my life right now, just based on all of the other trauma I've been through with friends and with their people. And I think that the thing for me is, if people can at least acknowledge that it sounds sus, then it's like, okay, we're going somewhere. But if you can't even acknowledge that it sounds sus, and you're in this la la land that this is, and I'm very proud of myself, right? Because older Tia would have tried to tell her, like, this is not like, the math ain't mathin'. It just, in the way the way that things that she shared with me were shared, it wasn't necessarily making sense in my world. Older Tia would have tried to fix it and make it be what I thought it should be. Who's to say what's in my world is the right thing? Who's to say what's in my world works for everybody? So instead, she actually hadn't reached, we ghosted each other simultaneously at first. And then she came back like a week or two later, like, hey, I know I've been MIA. I'd love to catch up with a FaceTime call, something. And at that point, I was like, no. Other things had also started catching up. Like, even the day that I had my graduation, she didn't wish me happy graduation. She took forever to reply to me. It just started really showing some unhealed things within myself that I needed to work on. I think that she's a beautiful person. I wish her a grand healing journey, because I know that she's working through some things as well. And I'd love to see like where she's at in like maybe 10 years from now. Just like on her journey, because it's just a lot to work through in life. But I just feel like she was like going full steam ahead on this journey. And it was like a little bit of a whirlwind journey, and I was trying to be on a motherfucking plateau. I can't be another whirlwind. So I put myself in this situation. And so, like I said, nothing bad onto her. I think she's a beautiful person. I hope that whatever her journey is, it ends up being a beautiful one. I hope that it's fun. I hope that she's living her best fucking life. And getting whatever she needs to get out of it. But I do hope that she's not hurting people in the process. Just based on some of the things that she shared with me. And then that's when I say to myself, well, maybe she didn't know how much I liked her. Because I remember I was like, oh yeah, so when are you going to book this trip to come to Mexico? This was the final straw for me. This was the final straw. And this was a little bit in the middle of when we started talking. I was like, yeah, when you going to book a flight to come to visit me in Mexico? And I felt like, not that she went off, but she was just real flippant about it. Like, yeah, I'm not really trying to travel until X, Y, and Z, and I'm trying to save up my funds, blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. As someone who's very frugal, I very much so understand trying to save money. But then she says, oh yeah, I'm taking a trip with my female new friend that she had just met right before she moved to another state, like to a tropical place. But I thought she didn't have money to come. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Maybe the friend's paying for it or some shit. Who knows? But it just was like, okay, once again, one thing I've learned about polyamorous people is it really depends on where your priorities lie. And as much as people try to say, oh, there's no hierarchy or whatever, or some polyamorous relationships do have a hierarchy and some don't. I feel like as long as you're fucking honest about it, that's all that matters. And then some people care more than other people, right? There might be some people that care about the hierarchy and want to know if they're at the top. That's me. I would like to know if I'm at the top, second, third, or fourth, because I would like to be at the top of someone's world, underneath them, right? Underneath their parents or whoever else they love. But yeah, that's something that I would like, because I feel like I've been marginalized so much in dating and in my relationships that I need that. But then that sucks, right? Because then say that I'm the first primary partner, but then you have the second partner who knows that they're the secondary partner. What energy does that have on it? Like, oh, and is the primary partner always the one that's first? Or can the secondary partner become the primary partner? The primary partner takes a step back. And is the secondary partner taking a step back? Like, is that what that is? Or is everybody showing up in the same way? In my ideal mind, everyone would show up in the same way. Everyone would have the same amount of hierarchy. But then it's like, well, what if I want intimate time with my one person? I feel like then you have to be extremely understanding. I don't think that I'm that understanding. Sorry, guys. I feel like I have a fucking booger or something. And like, if I could just dig in my nose, it's just nothing. But, if everyone can be extremely understanding, I think that that's important for a polyamorous relationship. It's just so many pieces that go into polyamory that I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily tap into sometimes or understand, especially if they're the primary polyamorous partner. So for instance, say that you have person A is like the main person, right? Then you have person B, who is their boyfriend. Then you have person C, who is their girlfriend. Ideally, in my mind, if it's ethical non-monogamy, there's such a spectrum though, right? Because it's like person B, the boyfriend, and person C, the girlfriend, they could also be in a relationship with each other. And then it feels a little bit more even. It feels like, okay, we're all primary partners to each other. That sounds great. Then when it's like one primary partner, person A, but person B and person C don't interact, that's okay, but that's different. Because then that's when you're splitting up time, and then that's what takes me back to like my first polyamorous relationship, where you're splitting up time between your boyfriend and your girlfriend. I wasn't her girlfriend, but still, like, there's that, oh, I want to hang out with you, but why do I have to wait until so-and-so finishes hanging out with you, you know? Then you have like the quadruple thing, where it's like person A and B are together, person B and C are together, and person C also has person D. Person D isn't in that relationship. To me, based on definition, I don't think that polyamory is about how many people. I think you can be polyamorous and have 2 partners, 3 partners, 4 partners, 5 partners. But I think it's the same, and the same goes for ethical non-monogamy. I feel like those are 2 in the same. I really want to have someone on this podcast, and I have somebody in mind that we can talk about this, but at the same time, it's just like so many conversations that I've had are so contradictory. And once again, maybe if we could just admit the contradictory aspect of it, that'll be helpful. Because even the person that I was talking to, it's like she was dating all these different people, but then said like she loved our conversations. Like I said, I don't know if she knew how much I liked her at the time, which was a lot at the time. I was really excited. I was talking to all my friends about it. But then she said I don't even want to put her business out there like that, so I won't. But yeah, it's just, there becomes this like unapologeticness sometimes of people who are the primary partner in the polyamory as well. Like say that person A meets person B and person C and then introduces person B and person C to each other. There's almost this like slight arrogance that I've sensed in some polyamorous people. I think that it's supposed to be confidence. I think that that's how they want it to show up. But sometimes it comes off a bit flippant. Like I've had conversations with people and they're like, yeah, but if someone don't want to deal with that, then that's just on them. That's just on them. And I'm sure I've been like that too in certain situations in my life too. So I can't blame, but it's just very interesting to observe like how that shows up in people's lives. And maybe it's a defense mechanism because people know how a lot of the world looks at polyamory. So maybe they're trying to protect themselves from rejection before it even happens. Maybe that's what it is. But it shows up as arrogance in my mind. And like, not callousness, but like, it makes me feel like, well, damn, like, is that how you feel about me? You know, like, so I have to like deal with my own shit? Excuse me. And on the flip side, yes. Like, yes, I'm hungry, hence why I'm burping. I told you I'm not stopping this shit. But on the flip side, yeah, that is like how life is. You are supposed to handle your own emotions, but you should have somebody in your life that cares and doesn't contribute to the pain and discomfort, and that's open to discussing it and dissecting it. I think that's where it comes in. If you're open to discussing it while I work through my own stuff, then that's fine. So could I ever be in a polyamorous relationship? Yes. Soon? No. I think that I really do. Because I know that monogamy could probably get under my skin at a point. Like monogamy could definitely fuck me up. Monogamy could definitely make me feel a bit trapped. And it's so interesting because when I was in a relationship with my ex, it's like I was attracted to so many different people. It's because my ex showed up so ugly in our relationship, and it's almost like the universe was trying to show me, like, look, girl, there are like other people out there. But I was faithful. I didn't cheat. I didn't flirt. And then as soon as I got out of my relationship, I reached out to some of the people that I was like, oh, this is a beautiful person in a relationship. One of these people have been in a relationship for 4 goddamn years now, and I know because he's been in a relationship 7 single. The other person, quite literally, is no longer on this earth. Like, and then everybody else just seems so ugly. So yeah, I think that, but I think that's the thing, right? I think that people think that polyamorous is synonymous. Like, dating and being polyamorous are 2 different things. And could you be dating to enter into a polyamorous relationship? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, y'all. The person that I was speaking to, the woman, not the first polyamorous woman, the second one. The third one, actually, because the second girl that I messed with in the car was poly too. And that's where it gets tricky, right? Because I told you about her, homegirl too. Like, she was, homegirl number 2 was messing with a boyfriend and a girlfriend. The girlfriend was messing with the boyfriend's roommate. the boyfriend was messing with homegirl number 2, who I was fucking around with, even though she doesn't really like men like that. I don't know. So that was too much. Because when you bought the roommate, and that's when STDs start getting involved. Because you're bringing in multiple people that are doing their own thing. And it didn't seem like they were really all that on it. Because when I asked homegirl number 2 to get tested, she's like, oh, lesbians can't get STDs. Okay, that's when you get cut off. But yeah, for this third person, it seemed like she was dating. Not looking for a relationship. But it was under the guise of ethical non-monogamy. And it's like, just say you're dating. Because I feel like that's where it gets tricky. And even in the guy that I was talking, the guy that I had sex with, he made a comment, like, I'm just going to be poly. And I'm like, well, are you going to be poly because you have such a capacity in your heart to be able to love multiple people? Or do you want to be poly because you want to be able to hurt people the way you've been hurt? Or you don't want to be hurt, so you just want to have multiple partners? He's like, damn, if I'm honest with you, I think it's probably the second one. How many other people are out here living in these lies, or living in that truth of like just not wanting to get hurt and wanting to have multiple options, but not having the capacity to love multiple people? Like, what is that? That's what creates such a bad name for polyamory. So yeah, I think that if you just tell someone you're dating, and that when you are in a relationship, you're open to a polyamorous relationship, I think that that's probably what would clear up some confusion. As opposed to being like, I'm ethically non-monogamous, but you don't have a partner at all. That's just dating, no? And you're not even dating with the intent to be in a relationship. To give her grace, she was still actively learning and reading up on ethical non-monogamy. So am I. So is damn near the rest of the world. Because shit is always ebbing and flowing. But I realized I never really gave y'all an official update about how that went down. And yeah, I think I was just protecting my energy, just to emphasize she's a beautiful person. Maybe we'll reconnect at some point later in life, but not in a romantic sense. But just in general, I just feel like our communication had been marginalized. And after she told me she was talking to 5 to 6 people, she literally said, yeah, I like about 5 to 6 people right now. I was like, no, I don't think that I'm able to stay in this right now. The one thing that maybe I would have changed about that is I probably just would have communicated that with her. But at the time that she reached out to me, my life was really hectic, and her life was really hectic. So I figured, let me just fade to black. So if you're listening to this, I will as well. And those were my thoughts. That's probably why I didn't reply to your last message. To conclude this episode, I'm really proud of myself because I told myself that I was going to record this as being myself unapologetically. I feel like my mind is all over the place, but isn't that the beautiful thing about having your own podcast and being able to be whoever you want to be, especially when the podcast was created under the guise of you being able to be yourself in a safe space? I love this for me. So hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, feel free to comment below. But if you didn't, just know that I got something out of it. And this helped me take a step into really believing in myself, really seeing myself, and really loving myself as is, even if scenarios are not able to be played out ideally in my mind. Like I want to come on here and have my mic and be super organized with my thoughts and all this stuff. This is how the universe wanted this episode to play out, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So thank you, universe. Thank you, Me to My Body, for facilitating this episode. And thank you to you for either heading to my Patreon next to get some more exclusive content. Because if you need more of this, I think this episode's pretty short, but if you need more of this, you can head to my Patreon for more content. Head to my YouTube. I have free tiers on Patreon, but I'd love for you to do a paid tier if you have it like that. I'm still raising money for my sex toy company because I still need to get off of Wix and onto a different platform, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff listed on my Indiegogo as to why I need to leave Wix, and also just a whole bunch of other ways that the money will help me elevate my company. Because right now this is self-funded and it's all thanks to my credit card. I just put it on there and I'm currently accumulating debt. So yes, if anyone's able to contribute, that would be so, so beautiful. And I'm not able to expand until this campaign is done because I literally have nothing else to give. So thank you in advance for that. And also feel free to check out my website, theloveatiya.com. I'm so proud of it. I think it's so beautiful. And use the code WEBACK to get 15% off of your purchase until the end of September. So if you're listening to this in October, that code may not be available, but check out my Patreon because I'm going to start posting coupon codes for patrons specifically that are, yeah, we'll figure out the logistics of that. But anyways, I love you so much. Give yourself a hug for me. Oh, by the way, this is my grandma's shirt. Happy birthday to my grandma. I love her so much. Her birthday was August 10th, so I have 2 grandmas. one grandma whose birthday is July 1st, and my other grandma whose birthday is August 10th. I love them so much. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to my loves, to my hearts. And I am going to dedicate the gift of continuously taking steps to completely love myself in honor of my grandmas who didn't necessarily have the tools or get the chance to do that. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and to be kind to animals, and stay tuned for my birthday episode. Love y'all. Mwah.